Welcome back to another episode of the Pin High podcast presented by Pin High Media. Two things. Puerto Rico Curse is over, and this is a LIV Golf episode. Deal with it. Let's get into it.
This is Jordan Spieth here, and
this is the Pin High podcast.
Let's get in the clubhouse right off the bat. It's a LIV Golf episode, like I said in the intro, but I would be remiss if I did not mention that we cannot find an excuse for the Puerto Rico Curse anymore. Tony Finau has just tarnished anything we had. We had they haven't won it on American soil. Oh, now they haven't won it on a Sunday. Nah, he straight up won, and you know what? The Puerto Rico Curse is over.
Yeah, I was trying to nitpick it. Like, he won on a Sunday, won in the U.S.
He hasn't won in the South.
I guess. I don't know if that's a Puerto Rico Curse.
That's not a Puerto Rico.
Yeah. No, it's
but
done. It's
yeah, I think he's
done.
defeated it. Now, I think the Puerto Rico Curse was there. He got a little good luck there at the end on 17. Like, he hit it off the hospitality, and it just landed inbounds, and then
he tried to give it away too.
Bogey. He tried to give it away.
He tried to give it away.
He was fighting the curse pretty hard there at the end, but it was hard to give it up.
Would we have attributed that to the curse?
Oh, 100%. That would have been.
I'm not even sure if I believe that the curse was really still alive, but
no, it was just a little bit we had basically, and it was But what was he up on the 18th hole? Was he up by 4 going into 18 or something like that, or something even crazier, like 5 going to 17 or something like that? And if he had blown that lead on 18, somehow lost, that it would have been we'd be out here full blown saying, is this actually still really a thing? And is no one has won in the US on a Sunday? And
I mean, whatever. I'm
so
just
stupid.
going into the round, Tony Finau was up there, but it didn't really look like he was gonna win. I
actually watched a decent amount of this tournament, and a good amount. And Scott Piercy did not fall. He was first round leader. He was going to be wire to wire winner, and he at one point I saw on social media was minus 720 to win at one point on Sunday.
Well, was he up? He was up by 3 going to the final round. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. On
Grillo, he got to 20
on Grillo. He was 5 over for the final round. Did not have it at all. And that's then bad. Even Grillo, who was it was even par for the final round. Hoagie was -1 for the final. Grayson Sig +1. The guys who were up near the top just didn't play well the final day. So that kind of opened the door for Tony Finau to take it over. And Sanjay M to get a backdoor T2. But it kind of crazy.
And also I know it played, I think I saw it played a little tougher earlier in the week because of the wind, but also an easy course on the PGA Tour. This is just a very, very stark difference from the Open that we had a couple weeks ago. But it wasn't a good field at all. And we can get into that with LIV too, but it was guys near the top hadn't won in forever or just hadn't won in general, and it clearly showed.
And now this kind of segues into the rest of the episode, but this is what you're gonna have to get used to.
Yep.
The PGA Tour might be like this for a good majority of the year, or a good majority, good long stretches of the year. It's gonna be like that. And if you're a fan of the tour and you like the storylines, for instance, I don't know, this week you had Chris Goddard up playing pretty okay. He's top 30. Guys like that who are coming on the scene. You're still gonna like the tour, and it's still gonna be fun to watch. It wasn't a bad leaderboard. You had Finau and him, who were the top 2 finishers. But, you know, the superstars are just kind of like going to be phased away.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough, especially for these tournaments after all the majors are done. Like, these tournaments and notoriously aren't really good fields to begin with, like even without LIV Golf. So like just kind of getting worse. And like Tony Finau was your favorite coming into the tournament this week, and he ended up winning. You might see a lot of that in the last few weeks. You might see a lot of, you know, guys we haven't heard from, guys that, you know, are coming up, might start winning some tournaments here, maybe even starting this week. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be different, but that's kind of the world we live in right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's talks of this is a phrase that kind of did it for me, that got me all riled up. Just talks of a mass exodus from the PGA Tour, you know, membership, and I'm just like, dude, I think it's past the LIV is an inevitable talk, and or at least it's getting there. But once like the FedEx Cup playoffs happen and like guys start to leave after that, it's like LIV is here.
Oh, it's here right now.
It is here right now.
It's absolutely here right now.
Yeah.
It's taking these guys. It's all people talk about during non-major weeks, during major weeks is LIV. And you're right, it's gonna get worse, especially after the FedEx Cup, and guys are gonna get their money and dip. And I don't like, kind of like money wise, if you're up, you know, top of the board and you're going to get like maybe a Cam Smith doesn't go until after the FedEx Cup and he wins the FedEx Cup, who knows? But it's definitely it's going to be a topic of conversation for a long time.
I mean, talking about this week in the news cycle, do players care about the Ryder Cup? Who would have thought that would have been a headline a year ago or 6 months ago?
I mean, crazy. Something's going to have to happen. Like there's going to be a breaking point here where the PGA Tour can't limit people from going to LIV anymore. I mean, the first batch of players that went to LIV, like, okay, they like DJ moved the needle a little bit, but you kind of had your older guys there. But all of a sudden, like Bryson made the move, Brooks Koepka made the move, you know, some other younger guys, Abraham Answer made the move. That's when we're like starting to see, okay, like this is a real thing. Like guys are gonna go play here if they're offered the right amount of money. So like, you know, at some point, the PGA Tour might only be Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas, and that's it. So there's going to have to be a breaking point at some point, because these guys are going to want to play in majors. I feel like the PGA Tour can't keep them out just because they went to go play and LIV Golf for that long. Like the lawyers are going to get to a resolution here where they're going to be allowed back on the PGA Tour. I just don't know when that's going to happen and how that's going to happen, really. So,
well, I think one of the big turning points, at least for me, and seeing this was, like you said, all these guys are going, and the guys like Rory and Rahm, Morikawa, JT, Spieth, they're all pledging their allegiance, which I love and people love. But as soon as, and Rory's, he's ripping the tour, he's ripping Greg Norman, doing all that. Excuse me. And as soon as he says, I think at a press conference at the Open or maybe the week before, as soon as he says, we got to find a way to get some of this money into the PGA Tour guys' hands too. It's that kind of changes things. And I think there could be a point where there is a strategic alliance between, maybe it's not just LIV, or maybe it's the PGL. I know that's separate from LIV, and so something where I know the PGA Tour has put more money into these like Riviera, Bay Hill, these signature events, which I think is great. That changes things a little bit for the guys, gives guys more incentive to play and stay and have an off season, that kind of thing. But it will come to a point where these guys going to LIV are getting offered so much money that it might not matter. And if they, especially after the FedEx Cup, it might, and if they get world ranking points, it might not matter. They might just say, I'll take the $40-50 million and go over to LIV and leave the PGA Tour with those superstars, and then no one else behind that. Like, we we just don't know. It's here, but it's also, there's still so much unknown. It's kind of scary to think about.
I mean, you can't keep these guys like off of other tours too, because if you think about it, if LIV just keeps drawing like bigger and bigger names, like right now they're only doing 48-man fields. Who knows if that's going to change in the future? But like,
Seems like it's in the plans.
Yeah, like some of these guys are going to get pushed out. So
they just came out with a relegation system, I think, yesterday.
Saw that, yeah.
And like the Asian tour, and like but that's the whole point. It's like these guys are playing for these shorter schedules that they're going to have to play in the Asian tour if it gets too big, and like they're going to have to play even more events probably. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they already announced that it's going to be a 14 tournament schedule next year, which so what is it, 8 or 10 this year?
So I mean, 6 more events.
Obviously, they're going to play more than like 8 events in a year, and it's going to grow if it does continue to grow. We don't really know how this is all going to play out with the alliance that you had maybe mentioned, but I don't know. Right now there's like so much momentum gaining traction like every single week for LIV, whether it's player announcements or like you mentioned this like relegation and qualifying setup that they announced yesterday, because that's huge for them being able to gain the official world golf rankings points. It's here. That's all. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, and then just like the way that LIV Golf treats their players, like you saw the private jet, you saw the like accommodations for caddies, the locker rooms. Like it is like enticing for a player to go over there and play and LIV, especially if you're going to play a little bit less. Like PGA Tour, like accommodations aren't even paid for on the PGA Tour. Like you got to pay your way there. If you miss the cut, you're not making any money that week. You're actually going to be negative because you have to pay for hotel, you got to pay for your caddy, other parts of your team, swing coach, like all that stuff. Where like on LIV you're getting paid no matter what, and you're getting the accommodations.
It hasn't been this circus that everybody said it might be, because like we're all like, all right, but this all sounds great, but let's see if it actually happens. Let's see if they pull through, because this has happened before where everything's been a ruse or whatever. But it just seems like everything's running smoothly unless there's something behind the scenes that I don't know about.
Well, that's the thing. It's running smoothly right now, but we're only 2 events in too. Yeah. It could very well more guys go, and maybe after this year, maybe guys are. I know Sergio. I don't know. I didn't read too much into it. I didn't look. Read about it too much. But I know Sergio said he's changed his mind and wants to play in the European Tour again. But
he just changed his mind on like whether he's gonna like challenge it or not.
Okay, that's what. And
he wants to maintain his Ryder Cup status, which is like fair. Like
it is
wants to maintain that while still doing what he wants to do, not playing on the PGA Tour.
And we can get into Henrik Stenson a little bit too. But it's like this is 2 events in. There's still 6 left. Is there one this week? Is that one this week?
Yeah.
Okay. But like people might realize, like people might say like maybe this isn't for me. Maybe they have a year of like, maybe Koepka has his year of not giving a shit about golf for a year, and then goes back and says I missed the competition. Like some of these guys, I'm sure, like it's because it's a ton of money, but these guys are all athletes and competitors at heart too. I would hope, and I would hope would say, or maybe at least some of them say, you know what, it was like I got my money, I got my experience, and I don't even know if they can do this, but if they're not going to be able to play in majors, or if they can't qualify and their world ranking points are going to dip and dip and dip, and I don't know what the full extent of the Asian tour and how many events they're going to have to play in that, and how many world ranking points they're going to be able to get in that, but if as the current world ranking points go right now, they're not going to be able to get points on the LIV Tour for like I think 2 years.
That's a decision that they already like came to peace with, and
and yeah, they very well could have possibly made that decision and said, you know what, I'm just going to make my money and go. But I wouldn't be surprised if a guy or two, or maybe someone who gets relegated to the Asian Tour, it says like, you know what, this no, this is like, I want to go back to the PGA Tour, and like, who knows what happens then. It's like you said, it's like a circus. I think when people, you never know who to trust at this point either. That's part of the circus.
Yeah,
for me.
but I guess when it comes to majors, like I've noticed that a lot of the guys that have gone over to the LIV Tour are major champions. They've won majors. They're exempt into certain majors. You know, Cam Smith, probably the deciding factor for him is that he's exempt for the next 5 years in all the majors, so he's going to play in all the majors. Guys that have won recently are going to play here because if they see it as a short-term venture and they're going to end up back on the PGA Tour at some point, well, they're in the majors for the years that they're not on the PGA Tour. But I don't know what happens in the future. Like, nobody really knows.
So in the relegation system, though, like, it kind of protects a lot of these guys that might not even be playing well to start and might not play well in LIV in general. I'm trying to look it up right now for the specifics, but I'm pretty sure if you like come in number 2 to 32 in the money list of LIV, if you are a major champion within the past like 5 years, there's a bunch of things that like that in the relegation system that protect the players from
that, and that makes sense. But
the top ones that would.
I think Greg Norman's also very loyal to like some of the guys who made the move like originally, like who made the jump like right away. So like the DJs of the world, not that DJ would ever fall out of those rankings, but like just
he will if he doesn't play world events that.
But we're talking about the LIV Golf, LIV Golf rankings.
We're talking about the LIV ones.
The LIV Golf rankings. Like, they're not going to kick DJ out of LIV Golf because he didn't acquire enough points, because he's one of the first guys that went over there. So yeah, it's interesting that, you know, they're going to introduce this relegation, which means that they obviously have more commitments for the future, I think, that we just don't know about yet. So yeah, it does become a problem when you have a limited 48-man field. Like, how do you decide which 48 play? So
yeah, and it's
moneyless. I feel like right now, every argument that we try to muster up to be like, no, it's not going to work out. Like, so far, all signs have pointed towards like those obstacles are going to be, you know, they're going to be, I don't know, like they're not going to be issues.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Greg Norman. He's come up with a solution for almost every issue that everybody's
the solution is just partnering with the Saudis and just give him a boatload of money. That's like infinite amount of money.
There have been some smart moves that he's made that, like, you know, like this relegation system and coming up with all these things. I was reading through all of it, like on Golf Digest, and I was like, I wonder who was sitting around a table thinking of these, because like these are actually some like pretty good ideas. Like,
there's and there's got to be like internal talks about how to get world ranking points, just so these guys aren't like left out in the dust. Like, I think it was Paul Casey's like reasoning like a couple weeks ago, saying how like, well, if all these guys go play in the world, like in the Asian Tour event or whatever, those become elevated events because you now have, you know, 20 players in the top 100 in the world playing in that event, which makes that Asian Tour event worth more in world ranking points than like a normal PGA Tour event. So,
well, it does, but also,
well, they have those world ranking points. They got to get on it like now.
But the same thing. Like, I heard like no leading up to, I heard this, and the whole world ranking points is like there's a 2-year period between when this like tour, either when it's concepted or when they apply for world ranking points, can get the world ranking points like LIV that they want. And also the requirements has to be like 72 holes. It has to have a certain number of other qualifying system, which they're going to do with the Asian Tour. But also the world, like, I think right now the world golf ranking system, the points, it's top heavy. So if you have a guy, who's number one in the world, Sky Scheffler, playing in a random Asian Tour event, he's going to elevate that field significantly because he's the number one player on the field. But I think at the end of this year, they're changing the world ranking points to make it more based on depth too. So if a Sky Shuffler goes to play an Asian Tour event and he's the only one within the top 100 or something like that in the world, it's not going to mean even nearly as much as it would have this past year or whatever in the past. So it's like all these top guys could go, like the DJs, the Brookses, the Answers. They could play these Asian Tour events if they're not getting the world ranking points from the live events. But at the same time, like as they're not playing live events, they're going to follow down the world rankings, which means that the ranking of the Asian Tour events are going to not be as strong as they would have been however many years ago. And it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, DJ and guys they have exemptions, but like, who's gonna like how and like certain majors you have to top 50 in the Masters is the benchmark, and certain number of other probably top 75 something like that in the other tournaments. But it's gonna be harder for these guys to get back into the top positions to say like, oh, I don't have to worry about playing this because I'm already qualified for a major. Like they're gonna have to, if they are going to be in the majors, they're going to have to ball out in the majors if they want to have a chance to like play in every single one, maybe.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
this
is like
possibility.
The Matthew Wolfs of the world. Like,
yeah,
that's
that guy,
kind of what
feel
that.
Like Matthew Wolf is going to fall off. I saw his name the other day on the odds list for like Bedminster tournament, and I was just like, that guy's going to fall off. I don't know what it is, but
the weird swing probably.
Yeah,
but
mental.
also, yeah.
Well, like, even a guy like Patrick Reed, like his exemptions run out after the Masters. His exemptions run out next year, I'm pretty sure. Like what happens after that? And DJ is
making money.
He won the Masters a few years ago, but the guys who won, like Sergio, like what's going to happen with him? Like he's not going to be able to,
I mean, I guess
get in these majors if he's not getting the world ranking points or something, like playing well in other majors.
When it comes to some of those guys that you mentioned, I think what it comes down to is they're past their primes, kind of. I mean, like DJ can still go out there and win a major, but like when it came to making a choice between not being eligible for the majors in the next 5 years or getting paid over $100 million for the next 5 years, I think the money kind of outweighed that, because they are at an age where like winning more majors doesn't really matter to them. They've already done it. They've been there. So I don't know. It's just, that's kind of a choice they had to make. And we've been seeing that most of the guys over the age of 35 have decided to jump to the LIV Tour, like almost all of them actually.
And I understand. I completely understand their logic behind that, and they are past their prime. They're getting their money. They're riding off the sunset. They're not playing as much. But a guy like Matt Wolff, a guy like Taylor Gooch, these young up and coming guys, like they don't have the major exemptions. They don't have the pedigree, and they weren't even that high in the world rankings to begin with. Like they're gonna plummet in these world rankings, and they're gonna have to grind on the Asian Tour.
Well, we don't know
we don't know how that's gonna work. We really like. There's
no,
gotta
we
be.
We don't.
I feel like for these guys to join this tour kind of almost instantly, like there's Greg Norman's got to have something in his back pocket saying like, oh yeah, you guys will be allowed to play in the PGA Tour like next year. They're not going to be able to keep you off. So that's honestly what I think, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think these LIV Golf events are just going to become like secondary events to like weeks where we have a bad tour event. Like they're just going to go and play in the LIV Golf event, kind of similar to earlier this year when Harold Varner won the event in Saudi Arabia, and like all these that had a better field than the PGA Tour and European Tour events. I think it's just going to be like that. I think that's what's going to happen, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that gives opportunity for younger guys who are on the PGA Tour to either get exempt and play in a PGA Tour event, and B, acquire world ranking points, win a tournament, even get into the majors. Like it is a good opportunity for some of the younger players.
And there's so much talent out there now versus even probably like 5 years ago that it's, and think about another 10 years from now or 5 years from now, that it's not going to matter as much if you like the PGA Tour, if you like watching golf, like you're gonna watch both. And like these guys are going to keep coming up out of, junior golf and, still be like, there's going to be more and more superstars. Just
Yeah,
like there.
I just think the
No,
only thing that
I don't
concerns me
disagree with that at
there
all.
is that LIV Golf snaps them up before the other tours
Well,
can.
that and going off that is right now, LIV Golf doesn't really have those like young superstars. They
have a couple that you might not know about yet, but like they have kind of dipped down into the amateur / college like ranks to
a little
out.
bit, but as of right now, it is the older major winners. And what happens if LIV does offer, like, they're going to offer more college kids?
The old major winners. It's
no, I know, but it's like for the most part, it's like the guys you think of are guys past their prime. Like it's Poulters, it's McDowell's, it's Pat
Perez. The bottom half of it. I mean, when you look at the odds this week in the field, it's it's a good field.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will be interesting to watch.
And when you take a look at it, past the FedEx Cup playoffs, like, it might be better than you think.
Yeah, I just think there's something kind of missing. Like, I think some people do enjoy watching the LIV Golf. Like, there is enjoyable parts of it. I just think like there's something there that they could probably do better. That they probably they've only played 2 events. They probably will do it better at some point. But like, just like competition wise, like when you watch a PGA Tour event, no matter how bad the field is, they're playing for something. They're playing for their livelihoods. Where like these guys, well, he just got $100K to finish in last place, so like he's not playing for his livelihood.
I feel like the thing that's missing is the people are competing for money and they want their money, but it's not what you would see in a regular, like even just a regular tour event sometimes.
Yeah, and I don't really know how you
it's like you're competing for, and there's no history involved. Like it's like a lot of these guys on that are staying in the PGA Tour, like they want, like a Max Homa, he wants to win Riviera, he wants to win other PGA Tour events that maybe aren't majors. Like everyone wants to win the majors, but guys want to win their, like, a hometown event or an event they grew up watching and going to. There's none of that in LIV, and that's what I think that's a big deal in terms of watching it. There's no Tiger won this event 4 times in a row and so and so's going to do it for the 4th time in a row and something like that. There's none of that history that gets people saying like wow, that's really cool, and people like there's no motive. I feel like there's much less motivation than the PGA Tour, and that makes it harder to watch for me.
And I think when it comes down to it, when the PGA Tour, like if the PGA Tour, European Tour let these players back on the tour and LIV Golf is still there doing their events, it kind of just replaces WGCs. It's honestly better than WGCs in my opinion. Like I'd rather watch the LIV event with the strong field rather than WGC.
I was about
to see some pretty cool golf courses. They do some things that are a little bit different than a PGA Tour event, where like WGC is literally the same as a PGA Tour event. It's just like less of a field, and it means a little bit more.
WGC is stupid.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but like LIV does things different. You get to see some pretty cool golf courses that you wouldn't normally see on the PGA Tour. I think that's probably where it's going, and I think that might be the best solution in the end if there is some kind of truce between tours.
If LIV is going to keep this going, then that's exactly what they should do. And they should, if there's no more fall swing for the PGA Tour and the big guys are going to have to fall off for the younger up and coming guys to come up and play these, like if you're in the 75 to 125 range in the FedEx Cup and you're playing in the fall and the top guys aren't, like maybe like that's when LIV can say, all right, we're going to have our events, and like not as many people are going to watch if Rory, JT, and Spieth aren't going to play. Like maybe that's time for them to pounce and say, we're going to put 4 of our events in the fall, but also you're competing with football, so it's maybe they don't do that. I don't know.
But they don't play on Sunday, so it doesn't matter. They could do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and be done. Like they don't play on Sundays.
Could.
Like it's just 3 rounds. It's 4 hours of one day, shotgun start. I mean, it is like an interesting, like that's something they could do, but I don't really know. We'll have to see. There has to be some kind of truce at the end, and I'm sure that'll happen. I just don't know how soon. Maybe end of the season.
I think that at the end of the day, it's gonna take some time. Like as golf fans, isn't good right now for anybody, because I'm not going to sit around and pretend like the first 2 LIV Golf tournaments were anything to watch. And, you know, I liked watching the 3M Open, but like, I'm not going to say that was like the craziest, you know, tournament. They're not that it ever is, but, you know, it sucks right now, but it could turn into something. Say if the 2 merge, like, or whatever ends up happening, you know, guys are able to play on both, even if they're not merged. It's could turn into something that makes golf more exciting to watch for a longer part of the year.
I agree. I completely agree in the fact that right now it's not good for golf. Like it's and I've said this from the beginning, it's diluting the tour. The best players are split up. It's making probably less people are watching PGA Tour. Maybe if their favorite player was DJ or like a Phil or something like that. But in the long run, depending on what happens, and we have no idea what's going to happen really. It could make golf a lot better. It could make it so that maybe they don't play every week. Maybe there's a week where the top guys are playing for a big money purse, and then the next week is a kind of a development guy and maybe like a more of a Corn Ferry kind of thing, and like it's like a minor league thing almost, and then the next week is another big money purse. It gives people more time off. I think part of the problem with the PGA Tour is, and I think it's been a problem for years, is it's all year round. So it kind of dilutes itself in it as well, just in terms of people are like yeah, there's always gonna be golf on, but at the same time, like it lowers the importance of a lot of events, like a 3M Open, like even the Travelers. It's and if they have the big guys only coming out for like they know they're gonna come out for these events, like these are the big events along with the majors, maybe that, I don't know, maybe that makes people more interested in golf then too. Who
I mean, like
knows?
in the end, all you really want is more people to be like, you want more eyeballs, you want more people to be interested in golf. It's good for the game, it's good for people like us, it's good for most people. And if, you know, shotgun starts that's only 4 hours and it's only 3 rounds, get some people into the game of golf, then that's all you want. Like that's really just the end goal there. I think you just want more people into the sport, and if that gets people in the golf, it's good for the PGA Tour because they'll watch the PGA Tour. It's good for LIV Golf. It's good for us. It's good for the game. Like it's just good for everything.
And there is something I wanted to talk about all of this before we move into like the skins portion of the episode. I saw something on Twitter. Someone was talking about what it would look like if there was like a Ryder Cup, President's Cup type thing for PGA Tour versus LIV, and I'm just imagining.
Oh my god!
That is what would bring the LIV Golf, the excitement to LIV Golf if they did that at like and LIV Golf like challenge them like to one of their own sites. So say you're having this at like, say, what is the Trump course in Scotland?
Turnberry.
So Turnberry you would not see on the PGA Tour, but say, you know, LIV challenges them and they're going to play at Turnberry because that's like their thing. And, you know, PGA Tour is all of a sudden in a bad position if they're turning down, you know, a challenge. This is all hypothetical. Like,
it would be interesting. I just like wonder how it would take the fans out of it. Like because I feel like the fans aren't really taking sides in this for the most part. I mean, like some people are hardcore on the PGA side of the PGA Tour, but like I don't think people are like hardcore LIV Golf fans right now. Like I'm not watching anything to do with the PGA Tour. Like I just think it won't be like that sense of a Ryder Cup, but in terms of like the heated competition, like that would be pretty interesting.
There's no real fan favorites on the LIV side though. You had like DJ, Bryson, Brooks, like nobody.
Yeah, it's like Patrick Reed. It's like it's basically just a villain squad. Like it would be, I think it would be electric if something like that did happen.
I think you're right that like nobody like is taking like incredible like sides right now, but golf media kind of is. But
like it's only on the PGA Tour.
Would in that case, and I know this is all hypothetical. It's not going to happen. It's just fun to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, like we're at the point with fans. It's like either you're strongly PGA Tour or like you don't really care. Like you want to watch both. So like, I think like there's no one that's standing on a ledge saying like I'm a huge LIV guy. Like I'm never gonna watch anything PGA Tour because I'm a LIV guy. Like screw all the guys on the PGA Tour.
No one's doing. No one. There's more people on the side of the PGA Tour fandom than there is on the LIV Golf fandom.
And you know what? That's just because that's what they're used to. And
and the LIV, I mean, LIV Golf just started up, and it's taking away from what people were used to, and that's what it's going to be for a little bit. It's going to take a while for them to even just get even remotely close to the fan base of the PGA.
Yeah, and you know what? LIV Golf will get better. I think like we're only 2 events in, like they're going to get better. Like the broadcast is going to get better. Like everything's going to get better about LIV Golf. And also, if you want to go LIV Golf, you could pretty much get free tickets right now. So,
yeah, that's the last thing that is the last thing we can talk about real quick with these 2 minutes before we move into skins. So a lot of players, a lot of like ambassadors are posting on their socials like codes to get discounted LIV tickets, or the first 100 using the code are free. And like I saw the first person do it with Patrick Reed's link because he happened to see it right off the bat. He ordered like 40 tickets like free, and he's not going, so he's just like pretty much the point of it is like try to get like as many people as possible there. Like they don't care about your $75 for a grounds pass. And like I saw Troy Mullins, the on course reporter, because I follow her on Twitter. I saw hers like pretty soon after she posted it, and I just was like, let's try it out. Did like 4 tickets because like that's how many people I'd probably go with, and just got 4 free tickets. I'm probably not gonna go, but
yeah, I mean that's the problem with doing.
I have the option
that's gonna happen, but it'll get somebody.
The original
to go,
one,
right?
the original one, I was like every single player was posting these, and it was like weeks later you could still get free tickets. I'm pretty sure, or something like that. It's
well because it was in like London, or it was in like it was like
true.
outside
London. Yeah, but like I guess like the whole idea is like if you want to go and walk on a golf course that you probably won't be able to walk on before, like this is a good way to get people there. If you want to get people, if you like don't have a lot of money, you don't want to spend like $200 to go to a PGA Tour event, like this is a great way to get people into the game. You want to bring your kids, bring them to LIV. It's free. Like
this weekend, whether or not you like think it's propaganda or not, is going to be pictured as an absolutely wild weekend because like it's Jersey and it's like always like
people are gonna
overdo it. They're gonna overdo it.
I think people are gonna jeer and boo too.
Maybe.
I think people absolutely are.
Apparently, it was Dan Rappaport that went to Portland one, and he was saying like,
I think like, Portland's a little bit different.
Mild about it.
I think that Portland's a little bit different than New Jersey.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of covered it all. We all gave our takes, and we circled around the whole thing for
Well, one last thing. What do you think about Stenson going to LIV, not doing the Ryder Cup?
I mean,
because we had a YouTube comment about that.
This was probably it was his last chance to probably take the money. Like if LIV does like gain steam and you get a lot of like top players, like Henrik Stenson doesn't really move the needle that much for like a normal golf fan at this point in his career. So like it was probably like a take the money now or like miss your opportunity. And I mean, I guess like you do have the Ryder Cup coming up, but it's still like over a year away. Like
roll the dice and hope that like, maybe you get your captainship back.
That's the only thing I can kind of think of. Like, yeah, like he has the opportunity. It's a year and a half away. Like maybe he has a chance to do it again, but also at the same time, like all right, like you're like you committed to like being the captain of this team, and then you just did kind of ditch it, and like you played your whole life for this, and like we're such like a big part of it, and now like yeah, it's the PGA Tour stuff too, but it's like the Ryder Cup, and like it means so much to your country and like all of Europe and everything like that, and then you just.
But like at this point, who even knows if it means that much anymore? Like, especially if all these guys are gonna go play and live, and they're not gonna let them play in the Ryder Cup. Like, it might just
and
it might kill the Ryder Cup and this the President's Cup as well. Like, it's just you get like 2 players from the non-American like President's Cup team, and you just killed the President's Cup because there's just like not that many players like available, I guess, that move the needle.
No, and it's definitely, I think something will have to change with the President's Cup and probably with the Ryder Cup too, if it gets to that point, if more and more guys go. It's, I don't know. I just my initial thought of it is like I had an analogy about it, but I forgot what it was. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of the move, just leaving like that. But I do understand him taking the money. If that makes sense.
In the end, you can't really fault him. You like, sure, like a lot of people probably aren't a fan of him making that move, but you really if you had, I don't know how much money he got offered, but let's say it was $50 million. If you had $50 million offered to you right now, like you could have it right now, like it's hard to churn that down. Yeah,
it's hard to turn that. Yeah. It is,
but we'll see how he plays this week.
Yeah,
probably not great.
I mean, who knows?
Probably he's been playing shitty for years.
I mean, I feel like this is like when we get to these live events, like so far, it's like close your eyes, throw a dart, and like that's who you think's gonna win. Like we haven't seen like the best player.
There's no dogs
win yet. I mean, maybe it will happen soon. Maybe your best player in the field will win, but like right now we haven't seen it.
I would say there's no guy who's going who's gonna go on a tear. I feel like unless there's someone who's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna maybe a DJ decides to go be savage and just say I'm gonna win every single one of these and just like try to go like Tiger.
He's not. You know that.
He's not. He can't.
He's not. Like,
he can't.
Why would
like? But maybe like that's my point. Like maybe someone just says like, you know what, like everyone's kind of taking this like a decent. I'm gonna go out and get my $4 million every week. Like who like. Someone someone could do that maybe.
Jason Kokrak's making his debut this week.
Kokrak.
That's going to be him.
That's Kokrak. Yeah, he's the one motivated for it for sure.
Okay, well, let's talk about who's going to win this week. You want to start with Bedminster, or do you want to talk with Rockmore Classic?
Let's start with Bedminster because we're on that pace right now on the LIV Golf. I will go first, I guess. My pick is going to be Paul Casey, 20-1. Just like if you look at the last 2 winners, Charles Schwartzel and then who was it, Brandon Grace, like yeah, kind of fits that profile of a guy who like hasn't really won on tour in a while, but like is still pretty solid golfer, but probably past his prime. So Paul Casey it is. Yeah,
and on the other hand of that, I think it's time that somebody like Brandon Grace or Charles Schwartzel doesn't win, and that's why I think that the momentum, I know that this isn't a great value pick, but the momentum is going towards Bryson Hambo at 8-1. I feel like that's not awful for a 48-man field.
Played
really well at the Open. So I don't know.
Not that the Open is not going to make any difference to Bedminster. Like it doesn't compare at all, but like a little bit different. But yeah,
but like just playing well in general, like form.
I mean, it really is dart throw. I think Abraham Answer could go out and get it, but I'll go with Kokrak. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cracks that guy.
I think someone
becomes the Tiger Woods of the LIV Golf Tour when we look back on it in 20 years.
This is perfect for him too. He'll be making his PGA LIV Golf debut, and he can pull Michael Jordan and go to Atlantic City during the wee hours of the night before his rounds the next day.
I mean, like I said, looking down LIV Golf 40 years down the road, when Jason Kokrak wins 7 events in a row, or be like, yeah, that
Are
was
we
his
gonna be
Tiger
talking about
run.
Jason Kokrak is the greatest golfer of all time after he
Yeah,
gets all his
exactly.
motivation done?
Or like, oh, Jason, like Tiger, yeah, screw that. Like Jason Kokrak went out there and he won 10 live golf events in a row and made so much money.
Jason Kokrak played 20 years in the live golf tour and never missed a cut. Can you believe that?
Hey, I mean, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? Like cuts end up happening in live golf, and like if it like gains
I think it will
in the future.
I think it very well could.
Your 48-man field turns into an 120-man field, and there's 2 shotguns.
They'd really have to be trying to take over the PGA Tour for that to happen. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean,
I think they might have to.
I will say that I think those first 2 pages I showed you of the odds list in the group chat, I don't think anybody wins outside of that. So that means like nobody, Charles
Honey Dupliss, you don't think he's going to win?
Poulter, Schwartzel, Matt Jones, Harding, Westwood, like I don't think any of those guys have it in them.
I mean, Hudson Swafford probably has it in him, but other than that, dude's won on the PGA Tour like recently.
Yes.
You mean isn't that don't you mean Pat Desire?
Have proven to play very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the worst shots I've ever seen in like a pro golf event, like in these 2 live golf events so far. I don't know why. Like it just.
And I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it, but PGA Tour would bring get the team aspect, get an actual team thing going, get like a full year. Like that'd be cool.
I mean, not so hot take. I don't even like the team aspect. Like I don't see any like.
I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be really cool. I think. I like it, but it's so dumb that they have it like switched up every week. Like just have like one team the entire year.
Yeah, not doing that next year.
Good, because like if they're gonna have that sustainable, like having one team and like actually creating rivalries, like that'd be interesting.
It's gonna be like a franchise next year, and it's gonna be like you like renew them after a year or whatever. It's
and then you can like make trades and stuff. Yeah,
like that's interesting. I think the PGA Tour should adopt something similar to that if they're gonna. If they want to like
it's just like going. So that's so different to like what the history of the PGA Tour like is like it's hard to like introduce
but it's so stale.
Yeah, that's probably why
it has gotten stale, but like it's not gonna like this like doing what they're doing with LIV is not gonna. It's not like they're going out and playing an alternate shot. They're playing. It's still all the history of what like the PGA Tour would be. But there's just the added incentive, like, okay, you're like you can root on your team members, like to do this. Like
I had the idea for the PGA Tour, and I think they should adopt it, but they won't because players use mixed bags and stuff. But like, come on, team TaylorMade, team Titleist, team like you at the end of the season, you have the Titleist standings or the TaylorMade standings. Like put them against each other. Like, why not?
Do team.
Ping, team,
yeah, like to like
or sponsors. You could do sponsors as well, but like I just think like if you pin like TaylorMade against Titleist against Ping against and like TaylorMade blows out the competition, like that's great for TaylorMade. Everybody's gonna start buying all their like clubs and
honestly,
stuff. Like
if they did that, it would end up being kind of lame.
Probably, but
I think it very well could.
But they could institute the normal teams, and it probably still would be kind of lame. Like. Right now, the LIV Golf team's a little bit lame right now, just because of the way they have it set up and the
also
logos are a little cringy.
It has to be different logos and team names. So stupid.
Let's move into Rocket Mortgage Classics picks because I do have a 20-minute walk to Jeeks after this before the Yankee game, and I'm trying to make it there on time. So.
Yeah, so I mean, just going into the Rocket Mortgage Classic Detroit Golf Club. I think this is a bomber's course, honestly.
It is bomber's paradise.
Absolutely.
Yeah. you
played it many times on PGA Tour 2K21.
You bomb the ball and you have a good putting week, and you're gonna have a pretty good week.
The worst field you've ever seen.
Oh, not at all. This is a great.
It's better than last week.
It's
great
better
week
than
for somebody like Will Zalatoris or Cam Young to get their first PGA Tour win.
Yes, exactly.
That's why I want to go first. I was gonna say Cam Young is the guy. I'm like I could easily see him win.
I mean, Bomber's Paradise because that's probably what it.
Brian Kirshner tweeted. He was like, "I think Cameron Young's gonna be a sneaky pick this week."
Not even sneaky. He's probably the favorite. Besides like
16-1.
That was the point.
Yeah, well, I could absolutely see that. I would have loved to pick him, but like I didn't really want to do it.
The thing is that the thing is, like, even watching the Open a couple weeks ago, like I'm watching it with like my girlfriend's dad, and he has no idea who this guy Cameron Young is. Like it's like people still don't know who he is, and he's like 16-1. People are like who the hell is this guy? And like it's like he's a great like
I think after a couple weeks everybody's gonna know his name.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with a little bit more of a sneaky pick. I'm gonna go with Taylor Pendriff. I think he is 60-1.
He's a bomber, isn't he?
He is a bomber. He's 14th in driving distance on tour this year, and he's been like sneaky good the last like couple weeks or so. A couple top 20s in his last like 4 or 5 weeks. I think he has 3 top 20s. So, bomber's paradise. Might as well pick a bomber who could get hot off the putter. So we'll see.
I'll go with one winner, but I have a couple takes.
Oh boy.
So my winner is going to be Chris Gotterup because he's a bomber. But I think more realistically, he's 100-1. I think more realistically, like, I love him for like a top like 10 or 20. Like I love that. Like there's probably some great value on that.
He's 100-1. I have Chris Gotterup on here as 60-1.
On what? I'm seeing 100-1 on a different site.
Yeah,
well, I mean, that's if you're getting
all the sites have very different odds. To be fair,
yeah. I'll say this one. That's a big difference.
But another take I have is that Ricky Fowler has been driving the ball very well.
I have Ricky Fowler in my DFS lineup this week.
That.
I've looked at the last couple weeks, and I'm like,
and he's
rocking the last couple weeks. I'm like, Ricky's kind of like making a move. Yeah, he has a rocket mortgage guy.
So he's been struggling.
Hometown game.
Yeah, right.
With his like short irons, which is kind of like you can like that's a part of your game that like PGA Tour players have. Like it's not something that you just can't have. Like not everybody has like the Cameron Young or Will Zalatoris like 230 accuracy like with like a long iron, but like they all have that somewhere in them, like the short. And Ricky does. So I think Ricky is another one. Like maybe he doesn't win, but maybe he posts like a like a top 10, like I talked about with Gotterup. Another storyline I like. Tom Kim, John Young. I forget what his first name
is he like 30th in the world or something like that?
Yeah.
Joe Hyung Kim, but his name's Tom.
Tom Kim. Yeah. Pretty electric on the PGA Tour he's socials.
Pretty good. I think that's like another guy that like, maybe not a winner, but like if we're talking like DFS and all that, like it's another guy, like he's like priced like at like 7,100, 7,300 or something like that. Really, really good value there.
Isn't he like 40th in the world?
Something like that.
He's up there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's the Asian Tour, whatever, manipulator, whatever you want to call it.
But like if I was to put together one of those cards of just like straight value that you see on like Twitter, but guys put like 4 of them, I'd put Gotterup, I'd put Fowler, I'd put Chris Kirk. Weirdly.
No, Chris Kirk is like.
And then my favorite, would just be like kind of crazy that Cam Young is at 18-1.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we think about? This kind of seems like a little obvious. Just came to the top of my head. What do we think about Cam Champ, 75-1? Just because it's a bomber's paradise and all that stuff. The guy can win like at a PGA Tour.
He did play well on the weekend last week.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He doesn't do it for me. But as a bomber's course, like you never really.
Max Homa has sneaky distance.
Yeah. Is he playing this week?
Yeah, he is. And his stats are pretty
53rd, I think. 305.
Yeah, 53rd driving distance. Yeah. His stats are pretty undeniable.
He hit the Gala could easily win this too.
Yeah, I was on him last week and he missed the cut, so that was like.
He was kind of due for like a bad week though. I feel like I've seen him every week, just like
he's like very good in like all the strokes gain categories as well. So
I love him. I hope he wins. So.
He's a very good advanced statistics player, kind of like in baseball.
I mean that means he's due the big tone, like the big tone.
On the contrary, you want to who's like really good here historically? Kevin Kisner.
Yeah. I mean, there's different ways to win.
So there's different ways to do it, but like historically though, it is.
Yeah, the last couple of years have been guys.
What was this? I remember watching a lot of this term last year. I think it was like Hank Labiota and Cameron
Davis won.
Yeah, Cameron Davis, like Neiman.
There was a 5-hole playoff. Davis and Troy Merritt.
That's right. It was Troy Merritt. Neiman was right there. I think I picked Neiman that week, and then Labiota he burst onto the scene that one week. I remember that. Maybe I'll watch a little bit of it. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. So
you watching LIV Golf?
I will not be watching.
I'll probably watch LIV Golf on Thursday for like 20 minutes, and then be like.
Actually, Thursday I have off of work, so maybe I'll watch LIV Golf and play a little bit of golf.
Yeah, no, you LIV Golf, like I don't know what time it starts in New York, but like it's only 4 hours, like shotgun start and you're done.
True. That is the nice part about it. It's not like an all day thing. It's just like this is the time. Like it's like a baseball.
Probably on like 2 or something like that. I think that's
probably
when I've done it. I don't know what time I did it in Portland, but I think in London they did it like so it was like 2 local time, something like that.
Something like that. Anyway, let's get in the clubhouse real quick to end it. Did anyone play? Me and Jeek played.
I played.
I shot.
How'd you guys play?
I shot 88.
I shot 89.
Left a bunch
at the mine.
Yeah. Left a bunch of shots out there.
I just didn't make any putts and did not have driver. But
I will say my putting is very good. But
my putting feels good. They're just not going in. Like it feels good, but they're just skimming the hole.
My putter and my driver
you do
both very good.
That's good to hear. Honestly, my driver, I'm hitting draws again. I'm hitting draws again, and they're high. They're really high. I'm getting back into it.
That's Trevor. That's the old Trevor.
I know. I'm excited because I feel I played on Sunday and I shot 81. I wasn't really happy about, but I had two doubles and a triple. So the other 15 holes I was 3 over par total, and that was it. And I felt like I missed a lot of putts too. So I'm hitting the ball well.
You know, number 10 at Silvermine, the par 5.
Yeah,
I was in the front bunker in front of the green in 2 shots, and I made 7.
The par 5 killed me. I didn't have my driver.
Did it take you forever to get out of the bunker or something?
I just bladed it over the green, and then I duffed a chip.
It's been a couple dry weeks in this area until like we had the rainstorm the last couple days. Sand was a little tough.
I was in the sand all day, so it's like I honestly like because leading up to that, my sand game had been like pretty solid, like just like kind of getting it out of the bunker, putting, like not like getting up and down or whatever. But if I just
like consistent though, like dang
not a lot to ask for, I probably would have shaved like 5 to 6, 7 strokes off the round.
Yeah, my round got ruined on 9. I was like 5 over through 8, and then I topped 2 into the water on 9, and that was the end of the round for me. Just the driver, I had all the other clubs in the bag like pretty well, but the driver was like as bad as it's ever been, which is interesting because it was okay like last week, but whatever.
Right now, as a weekend.
That's what it's. Larry, the one of the holes that doubled was I had a 100-yard wedge shot chunked into the water, made double, and then on the par 3 I hit into the bunker, and I hadn't been in the bunker all day. I was literally giving my girlfriend's dad a lesson to get out of the bunker, and I was like hitting bunker shots before, and it took me 4 shots to get out of the bunker.
That's tough.
Like just 4, just chunk.
Yeah, I have a new strategy.
It was unbelievable.
I have a new strategy like around 100 yards / like just outside 100. It's don't even take the lob wedge anymore, like the 56, and just take like a pitching wedge and swing like half.
Just punch it.
Yeah, and it like works out way better for me.
Because
like that's been the scoring area, and it's not good for me. So
yeah,
it's hard to hit. I feel like it's hard to control and hit a full. Like if I'm hitting like a full 60, like I feel like that's like a hard shot to hit. Like
so I just started like hitting a little punch, like pitching wedges. Like it works really well on number 2. Like on number 2, I just hit it short and it just like rolls all the way up onto the green. It's like pretty nice. So that's
Little
my
bump around.
my tip of the day. If
I
you
like
struggle
that.
with your wedges, just pull out a pitching wedge or a
Don't
9
take
iron.
full swings in golf.
I didn't take any full swings the other day, actually, which was interesting.
Just take the John Round, Tony Finau route.
I've been struggling with my ball striking, and
just
it, like,
punch out. Just
didn't
punch
really
it
lose
every
like
single time.
didn't really lose any like distance. I just like took like 75% swings, and I hit the ball a lot better. So I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta come back up and play. I gotta play the mine once this summer. We'll play and see how I fare after being a weekend golfer for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. That can be the end of the episode. I feel like we'll recap some LIV next week, and I think I don't know what tournaments next week, but we'll get through the stretch.
Is it FedEx? Maybe
No, is it Wyndham?
It's the Wyndham.
Oh, great.
Wyndham, and then the Northern Trust. But
no, not the Northern Trust.
No, after the Wyndham.
Actually, my parents are coming down next weekend, so I don't need to watch golf.
The Northern Trust is no longer.
What's it renamed? It's the
St. Jude.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Google still has it as a Northern Trust, but then I say TPC Southwind. I'm like, that's not in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Northern Trust.
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy the LIV Golf, I guess.